let's imagine that I have Aladdin's lamp. Okay, Genie pops out again. Robin Williams Genie. I like the Robin Williams version. He was funny. Now Will Smith did it great though too. Now let's look at this. You can make any movie you want. You can make a story about any topic you want. What type of issues or concepts would you make a movie about?
Yeah. It would be about the complexity of what it means to be a South African influenced by multiracial demographics in every form of shape. So like, if it's not even about like contrasting two worlds, about the mechanisms of all these worlds that you're exposed to. And for me, the challenge to myself is how do I make that universal to sort of my peers of every race, creed, tribe, whatever in South Africa. And hopefully that transcends and inspires or resonates within the greater audience at large. So that'd be the type of story where it would be, to put it into simpler terms, something as simple in sort of the storytelling as perhaps, look, I think now, but a great epic that's like Gran Torino. I love Gran Torino, in terms of just the social dynamics of putting this this unlikely person in this sort of environment where it really now challenges every sort of fiber of every belief they have, and it's like constantly in their face. So something like that.
And one of the things I love about Gran Torino is like the character is so flawed. Like Clint Eastwood's character in Gran Torino is so flawed. He's racist. He's an asshole. He's a bad guy. But it's about the character's choices. And the character, even this awful character, can make the right choices because that's what it's about. It's not about being this angel because none of us 100%. Are. But can you make the right choices?
Exactly. Like Scorsese says, he says he's not interested in heroes. He's interested in villains because they're flawed, and he wants to explore and sort of see their way to either redemption or damnation, maybe, It was pretty cool, that notion of like understanding
exactly
the human psyche, or trying to at least,
Now, if you could put together some advice, if you could go back in time and give advice to your younger self, what type of advice would you give yourself?
That's a good one. Just trust the process, man. If I could go back in time and talk to the 12-year-old version of myself when this dream was sort of really manifesting, like the idea of being a writer at first, and then maybe about 5 years down the line, the idea of possibly being a director. Just trust the process, trust the dreams, and let them hopefully nurture you to the right connections, the right people, because without that fundamental belief, this faith, this really like idea and belief of I really want to achieve this. I have no know-how, but I believe so much so that in little by little steps, I'll find little endeavors that will sort of open up the channels. And bit by bit, and I'm sitting here now trying to sort of comprehend the last 10 years of my journey. And that's the true advice I give to myself. Believe in your hustle, trust the process in which you truly believe, and that will guide you to purpose.
Believe in the hustle, man. Believe in your hustle. I love that. I saw this one great quote that was like, pray like it's up to God. Work like it's all up to you. And, and to me, like, I try to like put it out there and hope that it's going to fall into place. And, there's always these great little things that have fallen in place in my life. But there's also been a whole bunch of blood, sweat, and tears. You know what I mean? Like, and but you got to be smart about it too. You gotta learn the system that works for you. You know, you got to be smart about it, and pick stories that are stories that you have passion for, because you're going to be sitting with them for a while.
That's one thing I've learned, is that you have to believe in that passion, in that story, but it's also, you learn to find your way through mistakes. Unfortunately, it's so easy to say that, but it's like when you are in the crux of the shit, it's like, I'm messing up tremendously, but you go through a process and you're like, I needed to learn that, because now I'm much better in my craft as a human being. So yeah, and picking stories that you believe in, because I've made the mistakes of doing projects that have lasted long, where I really it put the truth in my face that, you know, you've done this for the wrong reasons, and no matter how much sort of reward in every sense you're going to benefit, it's not true to what you aspire to be. And it's true, and you get miserable. So it's like, as hard as the passion projects are to put off and pull off, it's like the process of making it with really dope artists makes it so much worth, because you're making art and hopefully makes you money, pays a bit of the bills. You know, the rest, you know, is really just bonuses, I guess. So yeah, that's ideally how it should be for artists. You know, like, these economic means shouldn't deter us from dreaming and doing our things, but unfortunately it's not how the world works, you know, so you have to hustle a bit deeper than most professions, maybe, you know.
Yeah. But, you know, and I think that's part of the idea of the stories we tell, though, is that I think the fundamental principle of good filmmaking is that your characters, whether they be a villain or a hero, are faced with a certain number of obstacles that prevent them from achieving their goals. But those obstacles are what makes the story special. Like, the fact that your character has to fight a dragon to rescue a kingdom makes the rescuing that much more important, 100%. You know, and valued. You know,
there's a thing I call unity of principle, and I've been taught by a lot of my great mentors, right? Where what you're saying is true, is that the rules that you establish within the world of your story, no matter the genre, you know, and that's the style of great storytelling, is that it doesn't matter the genre or the approach, if you can sort of establish those rules and maintain them, and if you really master those dynamics, warp them, like some great films have, like No Country for Old Men, you know, it's like, then you like at the hands of great art, you know. So it's true, it's like one of those stories where you can really appreciate and learn a lot more deeper than the other.
And that film, that story concept is so simple. Josh Brolin's character stumbles upon money. And let's be real. If that was me and I stumble upon $1 million out in the middle of the desert, I'm going to be very tempted to take it. Like, very, very, very tempted to take it. But what is, you know, God, man, you know, you then would stumble into this whirl of being hunted and killed. Like, you never know that, because, you know, you feel like there's enough of a motivator that you could get out, that you can escape from your troubles, not realizing that you're stepping into the fire.
Yeah.
You know, did you ever read much Joseph Campbell or study much?
Yes, Joseph Campbell. Yeah. At film school, in screenwriting class, he was very much at the core of us being screenwriters in the future as we graduated. Yeah, Man with 1,000 Faces, The Hero's Journey, incredible stuff. You know, I think it's at the
so powerful, and I think that you have to step out and journey into the unknown. You have to journey into that world that your character's afraid of, and you know, and if it was simple, it would never work out. But we have to journey into that world that is the unknown.
One of my favorite quotes ever is by Pythagoras. When he says, the most momentous thing in human life is the art of winning the soul to good or to evil. And I think for me, that at the crux of it, maybe that's what drives when I get into narrative filmmaking and long format, that is going to be that notion of exactly what he's trying to say, that art of balancing yourself to the good, the light or the dark. Yeah, exactly. So I love that you reference Star Wars within that regard. It's powerful, very much true, about our nature as human beings, maybe.